Feature Friday.
The freshest. What up, people? Welcome to Feature Friday Plus. Today is Sunday. We love Sundays.
Bit of a
They're
vibe.
chilled.
We did lots of stuff this week. We've been very, very busy. Quite fatiguing actually, but super fun. Lots of good news. We're definitely going to all the K-pop festivals this year here in London, which is amazing. Yay. We've been accredited, and all of that's because of you guys. So it truly means the world. Apart from that, great news. I mean, I think on Monday you guys will see our collaboration, more of our collaboration with JTBC, which is fantastic.
Tune in. It's gonna be great.
It's Big Mama, Gummy.
Emotional.
Ailey is also in the episode as well, so it's amazing stuff that we get the chance and the opportunity to check out this stuff. We went to the Boyz and we thought we'd do a concert review. If we sound a little bit tired because it's been a little bit of a week, but let's just get right into it.
Though. I apologize.
But it's amazing because it's just fatigue because it's like lack of sleep and stuff like that. It's not because we're really tired and we're recording alone. We're doing lots of content for overseas stuff, for channels and other stuff, so which is a blessing. Thanks to you guys. But also Nayeon released, so we'll give our thoughts on that piece, on that project. But let's start with the Boyz. We recorded some stuff.
It was pretty brief. I think we were really sucked in. I was living it up. I had a great seat.
It's really nice.
I was living it up. Okay, I was living my best life. And here is the stage. He had a little catwalk.
It was really interesting because
it's pretty freaking fun.
Definitely not as full as all the other concerts that we had. Just press next. We can just talk as
yes, sure.
This place, like B-roll.
Like B-roll.
Go on the left one. So that's the technical team.
That was so cool to watch. I have to be honest. Like, I seen the whole the team, how they were like so. It was a lot. They were decked out. Look at that freaking console.
I mean, again, it's high level shit. The thing definitely not as busy, and sort of there wasn't as much hype behind this. I think there was a lot of confusion as well because one of the guys, actually, they thought a couple of the guys because they had COVID when they were in New York or in the US, they even had planned to postpone stuff that we thought we weren't going to be able to be on here. Luckily we figured something last minute, which was amazing. Overall, keep showing more of the footage. It wasn't a bad experience. It was really good. The vibe is really good, but definitely not as busy as all the other concerts. It was a bit more intimate. I think maybe Max showed the crowd. I think it was probably like a good maybe 3,000, 5,000 people, which is amazing numbers still. But we're talking.
But you can see we were about to start. There was no more people meant to be inside anymore, and this is the VIP section here. Absolutely packed. Yeah. Absolutely love it.
Well, we were sitting down as well, though. That did get a bit full. I think people were still getting drinks and stuff like that. Everything you see there, everyone was sat down. Everyone was full. So I think the tickets they had planned to sell, they sold the ground floor, the standing stuff. That was as it was, which is obviously you'd like it to be fuller because the guys work so hard. There's Waluchita.
Everyone. But you see everything behind us. Everything was sold out at the back.
But you see those curtains in the back. This is a venue. The OVO is a venue of I think 13,000, 15,000. The SSE Arena or OVO Arena, whatever the fuck they call it now in Wembley. So they had made it, accommodated it to be 3,000 to 6,000, I reckon. Again, they're not a new group, but they are building.
They're still building internationally, the fandom. Yes.
And they've had some of their biggest tracks in the latest years, right? Like Maverick's done really well for them. I think also that Dirt, that song that I really like. I put the TikTok that's going viral at the moment. Walucha's famous on TikTok.
I'm not.
She's famous. My sister's famous on TikTok. I'm only joking, but yeah. So some of those TikToks that people like them and stuff, and we love making the TikToks with you guys, like. Interviewing you a bit and stuff.
It was really, I have to be honest, I love the chill vibe that day.
Yeah,
obviously,
it
was also a Monday, which I think it might have played a little trick
something
into it because it wasn't a bank holiday. It was just a random normal Monday.
Yes.
In the middle of the month, so it was a bit like if you had to get the day of work to go to the concert, that might have been a bit of like a problem overall.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe some people couldn't attend and stuff like that. There was also the confusion of the COVID-19 stuff, but overall the positives are very safe.
Very nice.
The crowd was awesome. The security
crowd was so interactive.
Super nice. We've made so many friends, and it was also really cool because so many of you guys recognized us and came over for pictures and stuff like that, or wanted to be in the TikToks. So that was amazing. there was like, the only thing that you kind of look at, right, is like now we've been, especially in that arena, because that's the arena we've been to the most now. I think we've done 2 or 3 concert reviews from there.
3 concerts including this.
So it's interesting to see how things get managed and the little details that are missing. I think go maybe show more of the stuff of the B-roll, roll the footage.
Yes, sir.
So that's them halfway through. I think this is a pinnacle moment to talk about. This is kind of like when we talk on maybe not the negatives, but the things that I think they will look back at and they'll think, how can we improve this and how can we make this, like a 10 out of 10 performance, which by the way, it's still one of the really enjoyable, what would you call them? Performances that we've seen. Just pause it there. But there were just moments that we were wondering, okay, it's like, what's going on? Like, for example, there was really elongated talking spaces.
Yes.
It happens in a lot of K-pop concerts. I don't think it's unique to the boys, and I'm not knocking on them. But there was a moment where I think it's because they're really tired and fatigued, and I think one of them was definitely feeling bad because they had to sit down. But he was still pushing through. What warrior! But they were having maybe some wardrobe issues in the back and stuff like that. And when there's just elongated moments of pause in the action,
yes,
because when they're performing, it
insane.
Feels like there was 50,000 people there. It was amazing level of stuff. So this is outside of their control. I guess it's just more managerial stuff we're talking about.
To be completely honest, the production was absolutely A1.
It was great, yeah. The production was really good.
From the lighting engineers to the sound engineers, the staging, the people who are fantastic. The obviously the cameramen and the cue in for the cameramen. Absolutely brilliant. There was not a moment of dullness when it came to like the whole camera set. They were very on job. It was very, very obviously at this point you're seeing them kind of like halfway through their tour, so
they're a bit fatigued.
They're fatigued, but they're also very comfortable with the set.
Yes.
They're also very comfortable with what they have to do. None of it feels like, okay, we're still warming up to like interacting with the crowd or anything like that. I also think one of the talking points for me that it might have like caused a little bit of like resistance from my perspective.
Or took you out of the experience.
Yeah, that took me a little bit out of the experience was the translators, and not because their presence. I think their presence is pinnacle, but it was the lack of
the timing was off.
Yes, I think because when we saw it on ATEEZ's concert, the timing was brilliant from the translators. They really understood how the guys voiced their thoughts. So a phrase, a pause, people in the audience interaction, then the translation. And in this particular case, I think maybe it was a different translator. Maybe they were working with a different team.
Well, they changed them. They changed the translator halfway
through as well.
From like a girl to a guy or a guy to a girl. I can't remember what. I couldn't recognize the voice.
So it was that kind of took me out a little bit, because when the audience were interacting with their speech, before the translator could even translate, because that's the fun part about K-pop crowds. They're so interactive from the moment in. Yeah. So and this is a significantly smaller crowd, but they were so alive. They were so interactive.
Loud, bro.
They were so freaking interactive, and that as a audience spectator, really that's my face. It really also been. That really makes you feel like the experience is a one of a lifetime type of thing, because it has to do with how excited the crowd is to see them in a face-to-face type of environment.
But the
translator was talking as the people were cheering, so
you can understand
nobody could understand what they actually meant. And they wouldn't give enough time to repeat the phrase or anything like that. So
huge props to Kevin here. Kevin is the guy that speaks English, right? And also Jacob, right?
Yes.
Huge props, especially Kevin though, because Kevin seems to take on the role of the leading when it comes to speaking, because he can speak both languages.
Yes.
And he did a great job on keeping things interactive and keeping the crowd engaged, and both the members engaged as well, because everyone, all the crowd speaks English, but all the lads, not all of them speak English to that standard.
That's right.
So he keeps it all engaged, and sometimes he was speaking Korean, he used the translator. Oh, sorry. So that he would translate himself to the guys, and that felt so much better.
And I feel like that also was a part of like the how at ease he is on stage.
The guy's special,
that
really special performer.
Again, and I think that's due to the comfort on the set, the comfort on the technicalities that you have to go through as a performer. because when you're on tour, the first few shows that you do, they're nerve-wracking for more than just the performance aspect of it. No, because of what you're gonna do on stage, but because of all the cues and lighting and everything technical that comes with it. Is such a huge weight and responsibility from a performer's perspective. But the fact that he was so relaxed and he really took his time to interact with the crowd and ask people personal and specific questions and maintain the rest of the members engaged, and it absolutely fantastic, and it came from such a natural,
truly that guy,
truly at ease.
I think also, I think a lot of people, including ourselves, know them as well for being quite funny lads and quite highly engaging lads. So I also understand why they had perhaps longer talking sections than other groups, because people, these motherfuckers are just walking memes, man. Like, they genuinely, they have so many fun moments and stuff like that. It's hilarious.
And the more you see them, but I also think, like, towards, as the concert kept progressing.
Have great music, though. The second set, outstanding.
We'll talk about that in a second. But as the concert kept progressing, the more natural their interactions between them became, too.
Less tight, less nervous.
Exactly. And not only nerves, but I think it also is like, okay, this is the time where we can allow ourselves to enjoy the moment,
So, music-wise, the first set, not my favourite set. The second set was definitely my favourite.
The opening was the best part of the first set.
Yeah, that first...
Back in the game, son.
So the first half an hour, when he was there before, like the intro and stuff like that was quite cool. Obviously, there's a lot of excitement, but there was more fluctuation of energy in there, because there was a lot of not talking spaces but gaps in things. Obviously, as well, you have to take into account. I don't know. This is why it's so cool for me to attend this stuff, because ballet is more familiar for the boys in this environment and the whole K-pop thing than I am. I'm a complete rookie. I'm a complete beginner. I know fucking nothing. Just what I know on the channel and kind of reviewing it from this perspective. But going there is a whole different ballgame, So I'm going there really, humbly and trying to understand everything and trying to learn. The crowd is completely different to the concerts I have been to. To be completely honest, it's probably some of my favorite crowds here. I think that's what artists deserve, a crowd like that they really do engage with everything and they really do appreciate everything that goes to make this shit happen, because it's so difficult. It's so easy to criticize it and judge it and do a review from a couch, but to get to this level, to sell 6,000 tickets, it's insanely difficult.
And the thing is, like, when you look at the
maybe
crowds,
it was more, I don't know, maybe 8,000, I don't know.
Let's say 10,000 people.
I doubt there was 10,000 people there.
Let's say 10,000.
Are you sure?
Nah, but let's just be generous. Because, to be completely honest, the wonderful thing about this particular concerts, like, the smaller the crowds, I feel like the more appreciative they are.
Well, they talk more.
No, I mean the crowd is more appreciative.
All right.
Like the genuine appreciation for the effort, for the fact that they're here, for you're taking the time to come to my city. Like, that's nuts.
That's crazy.
And they didn't come from like a bus tour. They didn't travel a state. They traveled freaking continents to come here, right? So, and I feel like the smaller the crowds,
it's their first world tour,
The smaller the crowds, I find that they're the more appreciative. They're more like, yes, this is something special, because when they get bigger, and because they're bound to.
Cool, things like that definitely help.
Yes.
They made a fan for life with me.
Definitely. So when they come back and they have sold out the 13,000 capacity that this place allows, then everybody, like those that came for the first time, those that came the second time that they came to London, it's gonna be like, we were pioneers in this thing. And I feel like that's something so special in the relationship of idol and audience.
Yeah, so again, I'm like a newbie at this stuff, so you gotta go in here, so it's a learning experience and stuff like that, but it's also seeing how this concerts get run in comparison to other concerts from other parts of the world. And one of the things that I find it is certainly different to how other concerts operate. Is there are gaps. That's my biggest concern. That's not concern. That's my only thing that I didn't enjoy much. There's gaps, and these gaps to me don't make much sense, because these guys are talented enough to just fucking bring a guitarist. Genuinely, bring a guitarist while everyone's getting ready. Right? Let him sing. Mm-hmm. Show me what you got, dog. Go sing me some Adele shit. Kevin's so fucking smart. At one point, he was like, one of the things we do, everyone was getting changed in the back. and his line had already had changed. Let's make the crowd sing. Where's the gap now? It doesn't exist. It's
That's
done.
right.
But all
and it
this,
was one of the most memorable moments in the show.
yeah, it was amazing. Everyone started singing "fucking If You Wanna Be My Lover," and they also started singing like Queen. It was amazing. We Will Rock You, and it was amazing. Adele, and they start singing because they're good singers. They're actually, they can do this shit. That's the level that they're at.
That's right.
Maybe if they were kind of beginning, maybe a bit nervous at playing stuff, be like, yeah. Have the gap, let them talk.
Maybe if they weren't good vocalists, but look at these guys. These guys are great vocalists.
Genuinely performance. So that was my only concern, and I think that's just a label thing. I
think it's just a production. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the only thing I didn't enjoy. Apart from that, it was fantastic. The only pet peeve is I think also might have been enhanced for me. It was just the translation thing because there was so much talking sometimes, but the translation was always fucking off. Not the actual literal translation, but the timing of it. And then the gap, there were quite long gaps, like 10 minutes we're talking, like five, well, at least they felt like eternity sometimes. And then there's the gaps as well when they go off completely and then they have like videos playing halfway through the show. I don't think that's necessary. I think don't have the fucking gap. Just manage the time in which you get changed now, you go off, you do this bit.
Yeah.
It's a bit more exhausting, yes, but I genuinely think it would have made this performance, would have made the concert go from like a 9 out of 10 experience to like a 10 out of 10 experience.
Yeah, I do feel the same way. I have to be honest. I felt like there were a lot of moments where you feel like, oh, okay, so we're taking a break.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Not
I think
needed.
I think I was ready. And even if it was videos, I felt like the videos could have been maybe showing behind the scenes footage. That could have been more entertaining.
Right, they did this, and again, this is stuff that takes time to make. They had this like B-roll footage of them like playing this game and this thing, which was a promotion of some of their app that they have.
No, it was their first ever song that they had released. That was the song that they performed towards the end, but they were also playing in that video.
No, I'm talking about that thing when they were in the playground.
I know,
and they kept jumping up and down and shit. They played that shit for like 13 minutes.
They did.
And it was like, okay, I got it. It's quite cute, I guess. It's quite nice, friendly. All the girls love it. All the guys find it amusing and stuff.
But even the people in the crowd, because we were sitting tiered, so we were at the top, right? And we could see down to like the interaction of the crowd.
Yes.
And even in the crowd itself,
you saw the gaps.
You felt like, okay, so now we're sitting down.
Yeah.
And it was
also everyone was very okay with it.
Yes. Again.
So maybe this is normal.
Nobody complained, and I think maybe perhaps we're being picky.
No, I'm just saying. No. We're not being picky. This is the highest level we're talking about. So it's as if, like, for example, in tennis, this happens a lot when it's like you have a player who won, but he broke 4 rackets. So he showed bad sportsmanship.
Okay, I see.
They pick on this. It's like, could that have been avoided? It's like, yes. And then you discuss it. It's like, well, maybe that's his personality. That's why people talk about him.
Right.
But here, it's not that case. This is stuff that's nothing to do with the lads.
That's right.
This is stuff it's just it's just the managerial aspect of things, the production of things, because they're that good. So it surprises me that they maintain things like this.
I would have loved to see maybe like dance practices, like how they were getting ready to gear up for the tour.
The fan cams, great idea. Entertain the fuck out of people with the fan cams.
That was so fun.
People dress up, so they put so much effort. They make the flyers and the what would you call those posters?
The posters.
Show them. Put the camera. That because there was like another good 10-minute break towards the end when they were meant to come back. They sort of tease you. There was like.
See, that gap there was enough. That was a great gap because they entertained you with keeping you wanting more. But they also introduced the fan cams into the picture, so you're like seeing the fans having a moment of in the spotlight in the big screen.
So overall, would recommend, definitely.
Yes.
Would recommend the Boyz World Tour. If you get a chance to watch them wherever you're from, go give them a watch. You won't regret it. I'm guarantee you won't regret it.
Yes. Very fun experience.
Let us know your experiences, and please comment down below if you've seen them live before, if you were here perhaps the first time they came to London. And let's move on to Nayeon's solo album.
Okay, so it's a mini album to begin with. It's promoted as a mini album. It's called I'm Nayeon.
I think we're gonna send to Future Friday Clips the reaction to, because we were just listening. It's not like a normal reaction. It's how we judge off camera and how we make notes and things like that. I think it's pretty cool that on clip perhaps you guys can see how we kind of operate and we think when we're not actually doing our review on camera. So you can go to Feature Friday Clips, you can subscribe to that channel, and you get kind of not behind the scenes stuff, but you get when you know, how do we think of when we do these reviews for albums and reactions that perhaps don't make it to the main channel. They'll be there from the live stream and things like that. So do subscribe to that. That's the
cover art.
It's fantastic.
It's beautiful.
I think Pop is a great track. I think on the reaction that you guys saw yesterday, I don't think I need to add anything to the thoughts I did after we heard it again. Mm-hmm. Do you?
No, I don't think so. I do think it's like the strongest commercial track they've got, and that they promote, like they produced. I also think there is a hint of High School Musical thing about it, which I'm a fan of. And then again, I think it's a great choice of title track.
No problem. Go have a look at Feature Friday Clips. There will be the reaction to that, the full thing, and you can hear our thoughts there. Not bad. I
just wish we had a longer section with
Felix, which I think everyone probably did.
Yeah.
We can dance tonight, yeah. Under the stars tonight, yeah. You outshine brighter than neon lights. Spaced out, no, we don't.
Yeah.
So I probably sound a bit dickhead, like a dickhead on the when we were talking about it, but it's like. Doesn't everyone though, you know, and it's like time. So. It's as if time was so not, you know, time was just available for these guys, and it's probably isn't.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I do think he brought in like a really cool vibe to the song though, because it's a nice upbeat track.
I wanted more.
But I think again, we don't know logistics, but I would have loved a bit more. Maybe in this chorus singing together.
No, the second verse. It should have been second verse, last chorus together, and lean the fuck out of Felix to be Felix.
Yeah.
Force Felix to be Felix. This track doesn't let Felix be Felix. It lets Felix be a feature.
Well, but that's what it is.
No,
it's a feature.
You wanted this to be a collaborative effort, I feel. Mm-hmm. You know,
I do feel the same.
Because Nayeon is such a juxtaposition to Felix. Yeah. It's Felix's voice.
Yeah.
5. You know what I mean? Anyways, Love Countdown, great track.
With Warnstein, I think...
Get the feeling he had a good amount of involvement into this making of the track.
The creativity process. Again, it's really nice. The acoustic guitar inclusion into this track allows for a lot of beautiful melodics from Nayeon's voice to really shine here.
Yep.
And not to spoil it, but I think it's like a good sneak peek towards the end of the album. Like this was like a good taster of what she's capable of doing melodically speaking. Because at the end of the album, it closes with a golden, you know,
the best track. I think Nayeon has learned a lot through that Twice Formula of Love album.
I think so too.
Because I think that's definitely Twice's one of their strongest albums in terms of R&B. Mm-hmm. And R&B commercial that they can do. So this feels like that. This feels like the pinnacle of Nayeon having learned those lessons, having experimented with R&B for a long time, for a long album. Yeah. That was OT Formula of Love. Was it Once plus Twice? Love Formula, whatever the fuck it's called.
Love Formula, I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
But it's my favorite Twice album.
Yes.
And then unfortunately, then it proceeds with Candy Floss, which in my eyes is the weakest one in the album.
So give me that, Candy Floss. It's a fun track, but I think the downfall of this fun song is that it's so predictable. It loses dynamics. Like you're not after the first verse and chorus, you've heard the song, and there's no more dynamics after that. But again,
perhaps
I think
it's your favorite. Let us know in the comments. It's always interesting.
I do think it's a lighthearted, easy to listen type of track. Not my favorite though, because I think she can give more than that. And again, towards the end of the album,
she can give more than that. At the end of the day, it's like, what can you give and what do you get to choose? What is also like, what does the label also want? So I don't think it's like she could do better. I just think sometimes it's just not the song. And also, it's not our taste.
Again, that's also something that plays a play here. That like I've said earlier in the stream on Friday, I was like, I'm not a pop listener. Like, I don't generally listen to pop. No. But
well, it seems the only type of pop we enjoy is Korean pop.
Funnily enough.
which is really intriguing. Well, we're not the only ones. You know what I mean?
That's right.
We speak to some of these guys in the concert and stuff like that, and it's like they fucking hate the charts, but they love Korean pop, which I think is so hilarious because it's so ironic for us as well.
Yeah, because we're the same.
Because it's like, oh, so we don't like pop. We think we're so beyond pop, and then we love
then it was
Korean
like,
pop.
exactly. It's like, oh, come on,
and it's
stop.
like hilarious because you see me listening to fucking Boom Baya, you know.
Yeah.
But I can't stand like sometimes like a David Guetta song.
Yeah, and I think it has to be with like the fact that we're so overexposed to it.
True.
And I think that the lack of exposure to like in general settings that gives them more allure to.
I think most people are quite aware. They call each other on their own bullshit, which is hilarious.
Definitely.
But anyways, then he goes All or Nothing,
All or Nothing.
which again you get to hear the evolution of R&B in a singer like Nayeon, who's essentially a pop singer, which is really good.
It's nice.
Your thoughts?
It's nice. I like it. I think this is one of my the good tracks in here that I genuinely like it.
You hear odd influences of the different sides of the case R&B scene.
Yeah, like
you see Taeyong, you see Crush, you hear Charlie Puth from the US.
Correct.
Bizarre. But
I like it. I think also Happy Birthday to You, fun track.
Happy birthday to you.
you're very JYP.
It's so I love the vocoder layered vocals in the chorus. I think it's such a fun thing. Again, like I was saying to Afra, I was listening to music with my mom. And my mom has the whole discography of JYP.
She loves him.
She adores him.
Shout out, Mumsy.
Shut up, mom. And so we were listening to music and just doing our nails or whatever. We're just like chilling. And I just kept listening to all this like heavy 80s synthy influences in his music. And in this particular track, they came so forth. So it was really fun to like pin those things together. But yeah, in the All or Nothing track, you hear Crush. I heard some Taeyong.
I would have loved.
Yeah, influences
Why not another collab? I mean, why not? You know, again, easier said than done.
Look at
I'm
us
just a
saying it
guy
from
in
here.
a couch. It's so easy to say this shit, and it's so easy to review it. It's so hard to make. So please do keep that in mind when we're sort of dissecting this type of stuff.
These are just our personal thoughts and opinions.
No, and also we are biased to the things we like.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Then he goes to Sunset, who maybe to some the most underwhelming track. To us, is the most impressive track.
I also think like they took advantage of all the opportunities and what is it?
What is it I said when we heard it for the first time? I said, I think like they utilized all of their resources they had available.
I feel silly when I look into your eyes.
You can really hear, because I think like Nayeon's not a bad singer at all, but I think you can make her into a magical singer.
And they did it here. They nailed it.
Because she does have that timbre, which can turn really magical, especially in the Korean R&B scene. If you use layers, if you use strings, if you amplify that breathiness.
That reverb idea towards like the end of the phrasing, it was.
Listen to Sunset. That's my.
Listen to it with headphones.
If that's the only recommendation I can give you this week, I would recommend you either Sunset or I think Left and Right. Everyone's gonna be hearing it anyway.
Yes.
But who else released this week that maybe was kind of like under the radar, like a song that was like a B-side that was under the radar? 22 from India, Arijit's new song.
Oh, Arijit's new song.
It's a great song. It doesn't matter what the fuck you're into. It's a fantastic song.
It's a great song.
It's got that
it's
international
magical.
appeal. Yeah.
It's kind of has that magical effect.
I'll edit it here, the name of it, because I can't remember it.
And the Sunset track, it is just beautiful. They really exploited her vocals. They really exploited the world building, musically speaking. The structure of the song isn't terribly difficult, which adheres to the whole structure of the album, per se. But I just love how much dynamics they amplified into the whole track. How, you know, they brought her softness and her sweetness really forward.
It's awesome.
It's a great track. It's my favorite song.
It's a fantastic track. Overall, I would recommend. I think this EP, it's probably the best way to explain this. a step in the right direction for Nayeon. I think so. I don't think it's her best work yet, but I think it's the step in the right direction for someone like Nayeon. You hear lessons being learned. You hear the influences of perhaps the type of work she would like to do in the future with R&B. It seems that's probably what she's leaning towards.
She's also, I feel like she's also making that transition from pop into something a little bit more chilled.
Which we've seen other girl group members, such as Taeyong, make transitions like this. We've seen Hyolyn make transitions like this.
Yes.
I think Hyolyn's so fucking deep now into R&B. She's turning into R&B trap.
Yeah, she's experimenting far beyond.
Yeah, we're getting well, you know,
We've
obviously
seen
get
it
the
with
Mamamoo
Red
girls
Velvet.
with Red Velvet. Well, the thing about Red Velvet is so intriguing though, because they were like the Powerpuff Girls for SM to represent R&B.
Yes.
So I think they're a bad example in that sense because they were essentially chosen
For vocal, like
R&B.
R&B.
Yeah, and Nayeon was not chosen for R&B. She was
That's
chosen
true.
to be a
Pop.
pop icon.
That's right. And
Because that's what she's become.
And I think they nailed it. I think
Yeah.
this particular
This is
body of work
Awesome growth.
represents that all. That it represents that growth. I do think so. This is exciting. I think this is a really exciting beginning. Again, she looks absolutely stunning in all the videos, the pictures, the teasers. I'm excited to see this live in settings.
Good.
See
We have seen
what
that
comes
KBS
out.
started dropping some stuff. Go and check it out.
Studio Chum.
TBC represent.
Studio Chum did release her performance video, so
Maybe we'll check it out on the channel. Let us know in the
know.
comment section below, guys. And apart from that, thank you so much for watching. Do apologize if the energy is a bit low, but I think it sort of fits the vibe of like a reviewing thing, and also
It's Sunday.
and the sleep, man. Lacking heavy. But thank you so much for all the opportunities you guys are giving us. I'm nothing but grateful, and if you stayed this long with us, it means the world. Thanks for watching.
Okay, goodbye.